Everyone I knew growing up, throughout primary school, family, friends, peers, never really spoke about volunteering. For the most part, people would just make donations like canned food for canned food drives or those aluminum can tabs, and I actually got recognition in school assembly for that in the 5th grade. All these donations are fine, but everyone is capable of donating their time, and I find that to be much more valuable. I do believe ultimately, deep down, somewhere inside of everyone, helping their communities is self-serving to a degree. Whether for public recognition, like getting your name on a building, or to feel that you are doing something good for your community. At the end of the day, it's still a net positive. I am a tad cynical about the people who do it for the vain, self-serving reasons, though, mostly because that was me at the beginning. And where it has gotten me is a place I never would have imagined. Volunteering opens doors professionally and personally. And volunteering as a college student, some of the perks and other things alleviate things that come with college life. Usually money. Save me money. But most importantly, it humbled me by showing me the true calling of volunteer work. I'm only 4-ish years out of high school, so my resume is minimal due to little job experience. So 2 years ago, I worked and was accepted into the Johnson County Community College baking program. The first semester, about at midterm, we had a special project for the week. So instead of making our usual baked goods and then selling them on Thursdays, we were given a menu and we broke into pairs to prepare breakfast foods and catered the morning meal at Hope Faith Ministries in Kansas City, Missouri. On paper, this looks really good. Always in interviews, this always comes up and everyone loves to hear about it. But when it was happening, when we arrived and served the hungry population that came through the line, some things were obvious. Number one, a lot of people just wanted our cookies. I mean, we're bakers, so we came with really good cookies. 2, which goes with 1, they knew what food to ask for. They wanted the simple sugars to give them energy rather than the more nutritious food that we prepared other than the cookies. And 3, they, meaning specifically in this case, the hungry population, are us. In us meaning the general population of the community. Speaking to the people we served that morning, many were very open about their situation. Some were homeless, some were jobless, some had both, but could not afford to feed themselves, unfortunately. Some had mental health issues, some had physical health issues, some served time in jail. But they spoke like you and I, obviously. Which means it was effortless to empathize with them, since I believe anyone listening can think to someone in their life who may have the same struggle, one of the many struggles that I just named off. All of a sudden, a population, the hungry, was finally something I knew was real. Before, they were abstract to me. Since I grew up in the Blue Valley bubble, I had never seen a hungry person without a home. I'm just being honest. I knew they were there, but obviously in the community that I grew up in, the town that I grew up in, I never saw it. So my bubble was burst, and I'm very glad it was. I was, better late than ever, honestly. So this became my motivation and the reasoning why I volunteer. People's needs must be met, even if you can't see them, whether literally or figuratively. Nonprofits meet many needs of various populations. There are ones that help with basic needs like Hope Faith, and there are others that help make things more accessible, like City in Motion. After being a dance student at City in Motion Dance Studio, I learned a lot about what they do for their community. They have an outreach program to teach kids, and their motto, Dance is for Every Body, describes the accessibility and openness that they have with dance, when dance is otherwise described as elite and expensive. They help me personally to access dance. So paying for dance classes is not cheap, like many activities out there, honestly. And even though City in Motion, as a nonprofit, has lower rates compared to their for-profit competitors, it was still an issue for me. So I wanted to take more than one class a week, so they offered me a work-study position. So I volunteered 1 day a week, and I was able to take as many classes as I wanted for free. So then at school, after my class volunteered at Hope Faith Ministries, the Civic Leadership Program head, Tara, reached out to me to join the program. So I joined. Again, initially self-serving, knowing that it would be a great addition to my college career and resume. So this program got me to start attending City in Motion's and Johnson County Community College's board meetings. And those were one of the many things that were required in this program. So for a few hours, I would sit and take notes on everything that was talked about. At City in Motion, I learned the constant worry of trying to find funding for a nonprofit. And at Johnson County, I learned the politics of my school, the issues that arose, the decisions and changes that are always coming up and being voted on, the reports from groups like the student government, the teachers association, the school's lobbyist, and of course the open forums. The next year I was wrapped up in my school's decisions in politics, and also the performing arts of KCMO as it affects City in Motion Dance Studio. Back in February of this year, I received emails from City in Motion about the KCMO budget hearing caused by the news that there would be cuts to a lot of funding to the arts, tourism, and Children's Mercy Hospital, to name a few. Unfortunately, due to my volunteering shift and class time, I was unable to go to these hearings. But I wanted to. I really wanted to. I had to hear after the fact from the City in Motion staff how when an arts advocate spoke, the room roared with support every time. And I wanted to be a part of that so bad. What was first self-serving to help me during my college career gave me something more. It gave me the reason to start caring about civic engagement, caring about my community, because it is important and it will affect you. If one feels like they live in a bubble, one day they'll leave it or it'll burst, like mine. So getting involved in any way possible is both fulfilling and necessary. In the span of a year and a half, I now attend City in Motion's board meetings and serve on their marketing committee. Unfortunately, in this COVID world, the only way for me to satisfy the remaining requirements of my time in the program is to take the Leadership and Civic Engagement course, which I'm currently enrolled in. And a big part of my grade is a presentation and report on the volunteer work I took up this semester in specific. And so this semester, I reached out and worked with Nourish KC and Global FC, which are both in KCMO. And they both relate to my budding career as a pastry cook. I interviewed many past and present board members at Nourish KC, and all these different people from different walks of life all said the same thing, this simple universal statement that seems so obvious, and yet it's still an issue in many places, including here in the KC metro area. We must feed the hungry. So this is where I am now. Far from the self-serving resume addition that I initially wanted, like so many of my interviewees, they said that their work, hits them emotionally, and my volunteer work now does the same. And I'm grateful for it. because no one wants to see someone hungry, or even worse, to know that a child is distracted and troublesome in school because they're hungry. Thinking about what I've learned just this past month with these interviews, I've only done these interviews in the past month, they have brought me to tears a few times. What I learned is people are hungry and they need to be fed. People are sick and they need to be treated. It sounds so simple, but it is hard to execute, unfortunately. But doing something is better than nothing. Civic engagement and volunteering specifically has helped me network, be exposed to certain fields that I would like to be in professionally, like food service and dance. I actually graduated from the baking program just this past spring in 2020, and so now I have my baker's certificate, and while in the program, it actually motivated me to now finish my associates, which I will earn in spring 2021, and then go on to earn a bachelor's in food science. So volunteering has its obvious perks, like I previously said, like my work study, which does help me save a lot of money and lets me take many dance classes. But lastly, and most importantly, volunteering allowed me to care about my communities. It showed me that volunteering is needed because there are needs that are not being met for many populations. And it can only be done by the support of a network of employees and volunteers that are at the ready to help at any time. Thank you.